there any strange elements. People in this area saw this craft last night. So if that craft was here last night, if that craft left the traces, our guides on the bottom are collecting those traces now and bringing them up to the surface, and we're going to see these traces be tested. What was the visibility like down there?
Very low, like 5 to 10 feet.
Yeah, 5 to 10 feet.
Too rough to see anything. Couldn't see much when we were down. Hopefully Pat's getting some footage, maybe some samples.
While Uskett reported that he sensed something peculiar in the water, the conditions prevented him from seeing it. He did, however, collect samples for testing.
Couldn't see a thing. Just my flashlight beam going into blackness. If there is someone who wanted a place to hide, that'd be a pretty nice place to hide. Nice and dark, nice and deep. I didn't feel like I belonged there. I didn't feel like I was supposed to be there.
Due to poor visibility at this location, the team moves 4 miles downrange, even further into the channel.
We're going to head out to another spot where, again, if you were trying to camouflage yourself, you're probably sitting right here in the best place to be camouflaged.
With underwater visibility of less than 15 feet at the first location, the divers prep a more sensitive camera to record evidence in this deeper area.
Here's your camera. I already got it in the housing.
Okay.
I'll set it up so it's especially sensitive to low light. If there's anything down there, you're going to see it.
What you're seeing is they're taking samples from the bottom of the ocean bed, and they're going to be testing these for radioactive traces and chemical traces. USOs leave traces. Maybe they're magnetic, maybe they're highly electrical charged. They're looking to test for electrical charges, for magnetism, and for radioactivity.
The clearer conditions at this location help the divers collect samples. And this time, they find something unusual.
I'm pretty satisfied with what we collected. We're going to check it with the Geiger counter, see if they're reading hot. Great. Just open the lid on these. Negative, this one.
Whoa, you got a lot of small samples here. Wow.
All right, we got something. We got something.
Due to the elevated Geiger counter reading, the team decides further testing is needed.
All right, the rest we can do back at the lab.
Awesome. So it's really no mystery why a USO would choose this particular area to hide in. They just can't be seen.
We can't really know what the results will be until we analyze everything and put it all together. But it's all part of the process.
What we try to do is test our hypotheses by setting up very controlled experiments, trying to eliminate variables. And out here, it's very difficult to eliminate all these variables that we deal with. So we're kind of on the level of just observing. And if anything comes up strange or worthy of continuing investigation, then we'll certainly be back out here, I think.
Kevin will probably agree with me here, right? There's a good probability that they're down there.
If you're going to find anything, you got to look.
Further testing on the USO sample proved inconclusive. However, due to the initial positive result on sample number 2, a more comprehensive USO dive is planned for the fall of 2006.
We've got to go back.
Coming up, we'll open the secret files of one of America's first nuclear-armed aircraft carriers, the USS Franklin D. Roosevelt, to uncover why she continues to be at the heart of the worldwide USO controversy. Of the U.S. Navy's many great technical achievements after World War II, few surpassed the dramatic might, power, and capabilities of its Midway-class carrier, the USS Franklin D. Roosevelt. Commissioned on October 27, 1945 from the New York Naval Shipyards, the 1,000-foot-long, 64,000-ton FDR was one of the first ships in the Navy's fleet to carry nuclear weapons full-time.
The Franklin D. Roosevelt was a very capable ship in every stretch of the imagination. She was an experimental floating active laboratory for the entire Navy Department.
According to many of the men who served aboard the FDR, the ship's sophisticated capabilities caused the carrier to be at the center of one of the great USO mysteries of the 20th century.
I have no doubt about the existence of UFOs and their interaction with the Franklin D. Roosevelt, and there have been many other sailors out there who've had the same experiences I have had.
There's probably a good connection with the USS FDR and the nuclear weapons and the UFO sightings. It was a magnet for UFOs.
Chet Gruszinski served aboard the FDR from July 1958 until December 1960 as a fireman and metalworks engineer. He says his harrowing close-range encounter with a large USO-like object in September 1958 off Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, has distressed him ever since. He tells his story on camera for the first time.
We're down below decks this evening between 8 and 9 o'clock. It was dark outside. A bunch of men come running up the ladder from the engine. My buddy then said, "Hey, Red, why don't you go up there and see what's going on?" So I followed those men all the way up the ladder, up to the hangar deck, all the way up to the flight deck.
Gruszinski witnessed a cigar-shaped UFO traveling at an incredible speed toward the FDR. He also comments that the object made no sound and maneuvered unlike any man-made aircraft.
We had no air operations going on. The flight deck was quiet up there. And this thing just came right at us, and I could see what the light was when it came at our ship. It was a row of windows with figures inside, and they got close enough I could feel the heat on my face and those figures looking at us through those windows. And the impression I got that those figures were looking at us were not human beings. And then this thing turned like a bright red-orange color, and I could see the shape of it. It was a cigar shape when it turned colors, and then it just took right off like that.
Gruszinski further reports that this bright USO-like craft rose from the water and remained relatively silent over this 45-second event before flying away. Approximately 25 of his shipmates reportedly witnessed this event as well. Most, he says, were quickly transferred off the FDR. Even more curious, he alleges that within hours, the ship's logbook was altered.
When I got the deck log, a lot of things are blackened out on the logbooks. There's nothing in there. And the witness was trashing off the ship, and they probably, I imagine they must have had to sign some papers to say something about it, but I never had to sign anything like that, maybe because I didn't say that much about it, you know.
After almost 50 years, his search for answers about what really happened that night continues.
I'm still trying to find these men on the flight deck. I didn't have to sign the papers. I wasn't transferred off the ship. I got a lot of whys. What happened? Why? That's what it is. That's why I've been spending all these years of research on it.
But Gruszinski is not alone in his belief that he witnessed a UFO while serving aboard the FDR. A second FDR veteran, Harry Jordan, served aboard the FDR from 1962 until 1965 as Seaman First Class. His rating as a radar operator put him in charge of one of the world's most advanced and sensitive radar systems.
She also had the capability of jamming rockets, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and even break through some of the countermeasures being put upon us by Soviet bloc countries.
While on duty in 1963, Jordan says he